But let's go back to episode 1 here of Dynasty, and it was very evident. The first one of the probably one of the lines I remember the most is when they're interviewing Bill Burr, and he said that the Patriots were so bad that he wanted to forget about being a Patriots fan. That's how bad it was. Talking about the passion that Boston sports fans have, and there wasn't a whole lot realistically that, like, I don't remember know about you guys, but the Patriots pre Tom Brady, they had Drew Bledsoe and nothing after that. They played for the Super Bowl in 94, I believe, or 90.
It was the 96
96, yeah. Yeah. And they lost to the Packers. But outside of that, they were kind of on that. They were 5-11 the year before 2001, and there was kind of some question marks. Nobody really knew what was going to happen. Bill Belichick he was in his second year. He was a failed coach in Cleveland, and they start out the year 0-2, and their franchise quarterback, who they gave a 10-year contract to, was going to be out. He had internal bleeding. It was extremely bad. I forgot about how bad it was, but
that was my take as well. I had no idea like it was that severe. I thought it was just a bad concussion. Like, he's lucky to be alive.
So guys, like, I knew like he had a punctured lung or a collapsed lung. I think I knew that, but I didn't know he was cut an artery open and there was blood gushing into his lungs.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I was like,
I didn't either.
My God, that's awful.
Nuts.
And the one thing I do remember about that was how loud that hit was that he took on the sideline. Like, they played it back, and it was crunch. It was bone crunching. How loud that hit was.
I mean, that had to be like what it would be like to get hit by a car at going 30 miles an hour.
Yeah. And I remember Brady saying that his face mask was dented in.
No, 5 minutes ago, Justin Fields doesn't follow the Bears on Instagram anymore.
It's happening.
Oh,
it's happening.
5 minutes ago.
It's happening.
Caleb Williams, you are a Bear.
It's happening. He's going to Pittsburgh. I'm calling it.
It's done.
Not Atlanta. He's going to Pittsburgh.
It's done.
It's going to be a Steeler. But he had blood leaking into his lungs, and it was unknown. There was some guy, a second-year quarterback out of Michigan named Brady, that nobody other than outside of the New England Patriots front office, nobody really knew anything about the guy. It was funny when they were interviewing Drew Bledsoe about it, and they talked about the pranks they would pull on Tom about how they would put something where you would have purple feet.
Oh yeah, like when you sweat.
That was awesome.
Your socks become purple. That was hilarious.
The FBI die.
Yes. Oh my God.
I'd be so pissed.
Well, and that was before everybody wore. Now everybody wears black socks, so it's like, it don't mean anything. But in 2000, everyone's wearing white socks and white socks only. And Tom overpaid for Ty Law's house, so it's not like he can afford a pair of socks.
That's that guy. I don't even fucking shit.
I love how Ty Law now, first ballot Hall. I think he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. Goes, Tom Brady owes me $150,000.
No, he's full of shit. I don't owe him shit. He overcharged me for that house. And
incredible.
The guy he was living with, who was a guy he played against at Purdue, whose name is escaping me, but Tom went to a pawn shop and bought a Super Nintendo, and they would play Tecmo Bowl. And all the Patriots, that what they saw in practice, they saw he was a very competitive guy. There wasn't the talent; they weren't quite sure, but they knew that he was a competitive guy. And it goes back to Tecmo Bowl that he'd play with his roommate. How anytime he would lose, he would put dents in the walls. How angry
or
he
Dylan,
would get.
Even like he knew he could hit the floor, and the floorboards would shake so much it would reset the console. So right before he knew he was about to lose, and in the winter would have to run a mile naked around the neighborhood, would smash his foot on the floor to reset the game, just so he wouldn't lose. Incredible.
What did Hannah say?
Chestnut
She's like,
checkers.
that's ridiculous. Like, that's not okay. And I'm like, I'm not endorsing it, but that's also why he's the best ever.
Yeah,
Like
and
that drive, that attitude is literally what made him what he is.
And to kind of make fun of us here, we're never going to date a supermodel because we don't have that in us.
No.
well,
Don't get me wrong,
I get fairly
sick.
mad when I play video games, but my mom would never let me. And maybe if she would have let me do that, who knows? Maybe I would be in the NFL right now. I guess we'll never know because she never let me get mad while playing video games. I just had to get it. She would just come down, turn it off, and I'd be done for a week.
Nice job, Jolene. You could have.
I remember
Yeah.
me and Cody and his we would play NCAA, and I remember one time he like held it for like the final like fourth quarter, and then went and kicked a field goal, and I was just fucking pissed. I was like, who the f does that? Like, who kicks a field goal? And I like stormed out of there and like walked back to my door, and I was just like, I didn't throw anything, but I was that close.
Oh, that's funny.
But even Drew Bledsoe said he's like I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't worried about him at all. Like he had nothing, and Brady's attitude was he just wanted to try and get better every week. He was the only one that believed that he was even gonna make the team.
Because he started out as a fourth stringer.
Yeah, and he just moved up the ladder, and and Brady, his approach is he wasn't going to take anything to chance. At that point nobody knew when Drew was coming back. Everybody kind of already wrote the Patriots off because I don't think many people thought they were going to be very good. They knew the defense was going to be good. And when Willie McGinnis was on there, talked about how the defense was the one running the team. And Belichick's saying was, you're in for this week, and we're going to see after that. And Tom just said, and he was telling people on the team that he's not giving this job back. And when the time came that Drew was finally healthy, he was cleared to practice, cleared to play, there was a lot of talk in the New England locker room about who's going to be starting. And Bill decided he was going to go with the hot hand, go with Tom Brady, and Robert Kraft felt terrible about it. Drew actually went to go talk to Bill or to Robert about it, and Robert referred to Drew as like his fifth son. Gave him that huge 10-year contract. They were very close, and in the end, Robert trusted Bill to go with Brady because it wasn't going to be good that if put anybody in a good spot, because if Robert went down to Bill and told him that you need to start Drew, we gave him a 10-year contract. He's our franchise quarterback. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. And then Bill gives into it and says, and Drew doesn't play well, that could be costing Bill his job because he was doing what the owner told him and it bit him in the ass.
And Bill to Kraft for not sticking his nose in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Bill make the decision and kind of go off on his own. Like, good for him. Most owners
and Bill also. And I didn't even think about this until they brought this up too. Is that Bill went through something similar with this in Cleveland when he had Bernie Kosar as his starting quarterback. And when you look at both Kosar and Bledsoe's careers, they had very similar paths where they were beloved in Cleveland and in New England. And they were tremendous players when they were healthy, but in both instances, they both got beat up really bad because they couldn't protect the way they played, and their injuries finally caught up to them, and they just weren't the same after those injuries. And the difference is that in New England, Bill Belichick had Tom Brady waiting in the wings, who just took well, we all know how that story ended.
But what's crazy is him and Pioli, Belichick and Pioli, knew they messed up in Cleveland because they didn't have a backup plan. Bill literally put all his chips in the middle of the table on this Brady guy who, like you said, Dylan, second-year player. The year before was throwing interceptions all the time on the practice squad and was not a good quarterback. From another book I've read about Michael Hawley, the Boston Globe columnist or Boston Herald columnist? He's in here too.
Bob Ryan.
No, it wasn't Bob Ryan. It was Michael Hawley. He's
okay.
He's the black writer with the
yep,
glasses.
Okay. Yep, I know what you're talking about.
He wrote a book about that, and Brady's rookie year was a disaster. It was not good. And for Belichick to see something in him and just kind of go all in and go over the unpopular route, go against the owner, but tell the owner, hey, trust me, I'm the football guy. Let the football people make football decisions. And the rest is history. I mean, so when Tom says he owes a majority of his career to Coach Belichick, it's 100% true because he said, all right, Tom, we're going in together or we're going out together in 2002 when this thing doesn't work. And
yeah,
boy, did it work.